Hello and welcome to RetroSlot episode 31. I didn't start my recording, so that's not going to work. We got special guest Ryan Niemiller again.
Hey.
Thank you.
Now, did you record that?
Us?
How we have to do my intro like 6 or 7 times before
I'm just going to wing
really
it, man.
Perfect.
Just going to let this
How we doing,
slide.
guys? How we doing?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm actually experiencing a cold day in California. We get our 1 yearly rain, and everyone's losing their mind right now. So it's I'm enjoying it. My dog's not.
Inside enjoying it.
Yes, exactly. I didn't have to do anything, and it got me out of having to run errands today for my wife. So,
oh, that's nice.
She was like, "If you happen to go out, I need you to stop here." And it's like, "Oh, it's too rainy. I'm sorry. I just
There's no such thing as happen to go out. If you make me leave the house, I'll do what you ask."
The dog's really nervous about the storm. I can't leave the dog. I can't. Works every time. Because luckily she loves that dog more than she loves me. So if I just bring in the dog, like, oh, it'll make the dog stressed out if I leave. She'll be like, yeah, you stay home. Just stay with the dog.
What's the dog's
I don't care
name?
if you die when you're out there, but like we can't have the dog a little nervous for a bit.
How much was it raining, or is it just that the LA roads just go, or the California? Is it LA or California?
So I'm about an hour south of LA.
So is it just that the roads get like completely crazy and you just don't want to go anywhere, or is it that like all the oil from years of it not raining coats the road?
A big part. So today is actually what I would call a real storm. Like sometimes when like LA is whining about like it's raining, it's literally drizzling. Like it's not a big deal. People lose their mind. This is something I had actually called. There's been thunder and lightning. It's an actual storm. The problem that happens out here, number one, people just aren't great drivers to begin with in Southern California because they don't have to be. And secondly, kind of like what you said, like rain happens so infrequently here, the infrastructure is not designed to handle it. So in the Midwest, where it rains a ton, the roads are designed where, water runs off and all that. Here, it just doesn't happen that way. It's just not, it was wasted money at the beginning to even think of doing that. So, and then also, since no one knows how to drive here, they go, well, I normally drive 100. So I'm going to still drive 100.
Tone it down to 95.
Exactly. I'm going to be safe today. We're going to go bring it back.
I drove through the South. This was a long time ago now, but what I noticed is that all the roads are crested to deal with the rain, right? So you're driving down the highway, and the middle of the road is up a little higher, and then, they kind of circle off. But it snowed while I was driving through there, and everybody was just driving off the side of the road because everybody has summer tires. They don't have snow tires down there. They don't have snow plows, and the roads are crested, so it just is naturally pushing them down off the sides of the roads. And it wasn't their fault necessarily. I mean, it kind of was, but
a little their fault, but not.
Yeah, in the South, it's like torrential downpour too. I remember it. You just can't see anything. Like it's just
the
whole time. Windshield wipers.
They're ready for that, but snow was a big deal.
Yeah.
So,
Jay, how are you doing?
We're under a state of emergency here, is what I'm saying. So we're
It's a drizzle and people are in a panic.
Exactly.
At least it's not on fire, right?
Exactly. I mean, yeah, that's the one. But in all fairness, Southern California is the one place where it could have a storm like this and still be on fire at the same time. Like it figures out a way.
Lightning starts it. It's like, oh, great. Lightning comes in, starting fires.
Perfect.
To answer your question, Briar, it actually snowed here last night.
Really?
A little bit, like an inch or so. Like nothing crazy, just like a dusting.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't snow here often, and to Ryan's point, like people here, it rains 140 days of the year here in Oregon, like in the Northwest, or 160. But when it snows, people are like, it's the opposite, Ryan. Instead of like staying the same speed, people are like, oh yeah, I normally go 55 when it's 60. I'm gonna go 25 today
Okay.
on the highway.
Yeah, I was just up
around
in
here. They
Bend
call that
last
the angry
week and
inch.
saw that.
Yeah,
the angry inch.
Yeah, the first inch of
Bend?
snow of the year is when all the accidents happen because nobody switched over to snow tires. Nobody remembers that you got to drive slow, so everybody's just driving like normal and tailgating and crashing into each other and running off the road.
That's
like
also my wife's
one.
nickname for me, is the Angry Inch. So perfect.
So it's a multi-use term, really.
Exactly. There's a lot. That's why when you first said that, I was like, "What the hell? Are you talking to my wife? Why are you keep her out of this, man?" As you were saying, Bend was fun. It was actually fun. It was my first time up there, and Bend's a weird little place. If you've never been, like, I liked it, but like, I think like the aesthetic that I got from Bend was it was very woke rednecks, if that makes sense. So it's like, yeah, a little bit, but like you could tell that everybody there is like they came to the show from like a hunting trip, and their pickup truck has Black Lives Matter flags on it. It's like a weird aesthetic with the people there. Like they were all very nice. It was very sweet, but it's a lot of people that like if you were stereotyping, you'd be like, oh, these ignorant redneck, and then they're just like they're woke as hell. It was the weirdest kind of thing. It's a small town kind of redneck, but they have money there. It was a very interesting dynamic. It was not your. I could not stereotype them in any real way because they kept surprising me with things they were saying.
I looked at how far Bend was. I was like, maybe I could like go surprise. If it was like an hour away, I would have made the trip. But it was like 3 hours. I was like,
no.
Yeah, I'm not making that trip out.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Well, like a lot
it's
of the
raining,
people
that were
at the show, because it's like there's an Angry Inch out there. I can't. A lot of people who were at the show because they just started running comedy shows there. This is like a kind of new project that they're putting together, and the show is fantastic. But everyone at the show is like, "Hey, thanks for coming. We usually have to drive to Portland. We usually have to drive 3-4 hours for comedy." So. That's why I didn't really tell you about it either ahead of time.
No,
Jay, I was like, "You're not gonna
tweet, dude." I was like, "Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. If I didn't have a family, if it was just the wife and I probably could have."
I say, yeah, he's got kids. He ain't coming.
Is it like a new community, or is it an old community that's just building new stuff?
With the comedy shows there,
yeah,
it's just a couple of younger guys who just kind of looked at it and went, hey, there's like there's a good market. There's a couple of good theater spaces there, and no one's doing this, so let's do it. And it's an area where it's like it seems to be working because again, there's nothing else to do, and they're doing it right. They're actually bringing in big acts. I've seen this in a lot of other towns that are similar to this that maybe don't have entertainment like this, and they just do. Hey, I've been doing comedy for 6 months, but I'm doing an hour, and then people go and see that show, and it's awful. And they're like, oh, we're never going to comedy again. Whereas for this, they're bringing in like, Matt Bronger. They just had Bob Saget. Like they're bringing in actual name value. And whether you think they're funny or not, that's a different thing. But they're bringing in names that like you're going to know. And so they go, oh, damn, this is actually legit. Let's go check it out. And when the show's good, that's how you build it. It's that spend money to make money situation on this.
Yeah.
Could be like a destination comedy spot. For people
exactly.
Like
I would do it again in a heartbeat. They treated us great. They were because they're comics as well. The two guys that run it are also comics, so they get it. So they basically looked at it like, how would we want to be treated if we were at a comedy show? And then they do that.
Sounds good.
Yep.
So it's been.
Go ahead, Jay.
I was just gonna say it's been 6 months since you were on last. What have you been? What are some of the main things that you've been doing for the last 6 months?
The biggest getting on tour more again. I think when we last talked, I was just kind of barely starting to get out again, doing shows. So I've actually been working, which is nice and scary at the same time. Because it's weird being out. Like at a certain point, like I've been super safe. I always wear my mask. I have my booster. Like I'm not worried about me, but you don't know what everyone else is doing with their existence, and every place is so different. So like I have to like calibrate my emotions every place I go. Like Bend, for instance, everyone was masked up for the most part. It was vaccination required. So you go in and you're a little looser because like you still want to be cautious, but you're like, okay, everyone here is on the same page. When I did like Alabama and Florida, it is a much different attitude down there. And you get to a point and you have to like make some hard decisions. It sounds silly, but like some places, like when I'm doing the merch, for instance, we always keep separated, but like some places I'll just wear the mask and they're like, hey, cool, thanks for wearing the mask. In other places, if I wear the mask, they're gonna be like, "Well, I ain't buying your shit then. Take your mask off, or I'm leaving." And you're just like, "I'll see you later then."
Yeah.
So kind of figuring that out. But the road's been good. It's been nice to kind of get a little bit of normalcy with that. Working on special. I'm recording a special on Sunday in Nashville, which I'm very excited about. That hopefully someone will buy. So if anyone is listening from Netflix at this show, please buy my special. Sight unseen. Just write a large check.
I'm
I
sure
will
we have
cash it.
that. We have some Netflix executives in our listening pool there, Briar, huh?
Mm. I don't think executives are really our demographic.
There's maybe some people who are borrowing a Netflix password from somebody. They
There we
might be
go.
watching. That's a little different.
It's related.
Hey, I'm sometimes surprised people who show up at show like things that I wouldn't expect in there. Randomly at the Ben show, the one of the main executives and directors for Sony Bend was there. So he was like the director of Days Gone. He worked on like Siphon Filter and stuff like that. And it was just like, as a video game fan, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. He's just randomly here to listen to me tell dick jokes. That's exciting.
Oh, the executives love dick jokes.
Oh, they love them.
I've been binge watching Succession, which I assume is just a documentary, and they love they love the dick jokes.
Yeah.
You haven't seen that? It's about super duper rich people being jerks.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Is it on Netflix or?
HBO.
So totally imaginary. You can't find rich people being jerks in real life. It's impossible.
No. All angels.
That's how they got all that money, is through hard work and purity.
That's right. That's how one makes money, right? The goodwill.
Exactly.
You got to be excited for the Pocket now that you're back on the road, right? So you can take some retro games with you on the road.
I am very excited about it. I'm just very excited. Like, I like the analog stuff in general. Like, they're expensive for sure. Like, it's for some people, just no matter how good it is, it's hard to justify, $500 for an NES, essentially,
Yeah.
But the quality is so good, and like they put some effort into it. Like, it's one of those things. I know a lot of people got mad about them having to delay it a couple times. I'd rather it be right and them be able to get all the pre-orders out, because if Microsoft and Sony are having trouble getting parts to make their consoles, I'm sure Analogue isn't top of the list to get
they
their
can't
stuff,
cut in line to get their stuff made. They just got to suck it up. Plus, everything's taking forever just to ship across the world. It's like it's impossible to get anything done right now.
Exactly. So I'm pumped about it. I know we had talked about it. I got my shipping info yesterday, so mine arrives tomorrow.
Oh.
And I will. I'm gonna do nothing but just keep it in the box. I'm gonna just show you guys.
That's why you buy two. You get one to use.
Do you think it's gonna be a collectible?
I mean, I don't know if it'll be a collectible, but it's gonna be one of those things that if you wanted to resell one, and that's not why I buy the stuff I buy, but I mean, you go on eBay now looking for any of the NES Noir systems, those are gonna run you at least double, probably.
Really?
It's been a while since I looked, but I know before they did the last stock that they did, which allegedly was the last one they were ever gonna do, because I wanted one and I missed the initial wave of them. They were going for like $1,200, like used, and people were paying the money. People, and I'm insane, but I mean, I own 11 Switches right now, so I'm not too proud to waste money on things that I'm never going to use.
Every single one of them, right?
I do, yes. Every day. It's like, oh, it's Wednesday. I have them labeled like my underwear. This is my Wednesday Switch. It's my Thursday Switch.
So they did another round of orders today, and like they gave like 3 dates for like when these things will actually ship, like Q1 2022, Q4 2022, and then 2023, right? I was kind of hoping like eventually we'd start to see like different colors of Analog Pockets. Like we'll see a yellow one and a green one. Maybe they do some like Game Boy Color kind of themes. But I'm like, if they're still projecting like 2023 for shipping, it's gonna be a while before we see any kind of collectible ones.
Yeah. I'd be shocked. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they just sell like new faceplates or shells, because one thing Analogue's very good at, and the quality of the stuff is fine, but there's about $800 worth of accessories you could buy if you want everything. You know, if you want all the cables and the case. I got the Game Gear adapter and the dock.
Same.
Yeah, so I got those, and I will get the other two adapters whenever they are ready. But you can put a lot of money into this already. So I don't know how much of a priority it is right now for them to do the different colors. I would like it. I liked the option for the NES and the SNES ones, and the Genesis for that matter. I thought those looked really cool.
Yes.
To have the option.
The different colors.
Yeah, I think now that might be wishful thinking.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm hoping they come out like some third party does like a thin rubber case or something that you can put, because what I'm worried about is dropping the thing, because it does not it's not going to hold up well if you drop it a few times on like concrete or something. So
yeah,
I'm
a known clumsy boy. So I'm a known clumsy man. So I'm that's why I got the dock, is I'm gonna primarily play it on television, like on like, you know, a full screen, just because I'm so nervous. I never play my Switch in handheld. Very rarely do I do, just 'cause I'm so, just one drop and like, oh well, that was $300.
yeah,
Well, go ahead. Good job, Ryan.
I'm mostly looking forward to play like on the couch while I'm watching TV or something, right? It's like I don't travel that much, but how I mainly play my Switch is like leaning back on the couch. I have a program that I don't necessarily have a whole lot of interest in, but you know, the wife is watching it, so I'll sit there and I'll play a video game, and to be able to play like retro games on it, hopefully with the jailbreak we'll be able to play ROMs, so you know, I won't have to have my whole cartridge collection with me all the time.
I plan on moving that into the living room, my entire handheld collection.
Just bring them all in there.
It's going to have a very good aesthetic that my wife loves.
Yes.
all the boxes and
just all those bins. I'm going to stack those bins right in the living room. As soon as we take down the Christmas tree, the bins are going right there. That's exactly where.
So, Briar, I didn't ask how you were since the last episode, 2 weeks. How have you been?
I've been doing well. I've been working a lot, so I've been just kind of keeping busy. This is my time to work a ton and basically pay for the rest of the year. I was pretty excited for this morning. I was a little disappointed that the Pocket second order came like right after the reviews came, because the reviews all happened yesterday for the Pocket, right? It's like everybody who had been given one early to put YouTube videos up or whatever, those only came out yesterday, and they're pretty positive. But normally it takes a week or so for the jailbreak to come out, and I'm really curious to see what this jailbreak is going to do, right? Are we going to be able to play ROMs off an SD card? Is there going to be NES, Super NES, Genesis support for this thing? Like, I'm really curious about that. I'm hoping that's what this thing is going to be. It's almost like an all-in-one retro gaming handheld. But most of the reviews just kind of said, well, it plays Game Boy Advance, and Game Gear cartridges really well. So, I don't know. It says it's $220, but I was like, this is really like $400, right? With all the accessories and everything, which I guess is fine. If you want to order two of them, you can get, you know, a white and a black one. It's only $200 extra instead of $400 extra. But yeah, I've been totally focused on the Pocket for the last 3 days, so that's all you're going to get out of me.
Apparently, too, the shipping, it's a flat rate no matter what you buy. So, like, there's people that are just trying to get a case, and they're like, it's $26 shipping just to get a case or a screen protector or whatever. It seems outrageous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like limited run shipping.
By the time you get your Pocket, Briar, like,
Yeah.
they're going to have everything figured out anyways, because it's going to be...
That's true, right?
6 months from now.
If I'm lucky, I'll get it in Q1 2022. If I'm unlucky, I'll get it in 2023. And once again, I've given Analogue $400 for multiple years. To just, you can have this, you know.
When you got your order today, did they give you any indication of what window you were in, or just
No.
Tomorrow they'll do that. Apparently.
Yeah. Because I know Steam Deck did that apparently. Like when they were doing the pre-orders, they would kind of tell you, oh, by the way, we've now moved back 6 months from the initial, so this is when, you know, just so you know, if you order it right now, this is when you're getting it. That's I mean, I don't know how they would do it, or if I mean, if they're selling them, I don't know how much they care. But that's a little frustrating. You can either have it tomorrow or never.
Yeah.
But please pay us all the money.
Yeah,
Right now.
Yeah, that's a little frustrating, but I kind of get it. Like I can understand why people are mad about that. But I mean, like the world is what it is right now. It's like it's really hard to make stuff. It's really hard to ship stuff. They do say that if for whatever reason, if you want a refund, they'll immediately issue refunds. So I don't know. It'd be nice if it was like Steam Deck, where you just pay $5 to get in line, and then when they actually ship it, you pay them. Especially around the holidays. People probably could find another way to spend $400 right now.
Yeah, I didn't even factor that in. That is a tough sell to pay in full price for something you may not get for a year and a half.
Yeah,
realistically, that could happen. And also, little Timmy doesn't get Christmas now because you had to pay all this.
My kids are old. It's like, how long do you give them Christmas presents for? Give them a card, slap on the back. Get out there and make something of yourself, son.
Yeah, they're old. They're like 8, 9 years old now. Go get a job, all right? If you want something, I'll work for it. Get out there.
Do we have any news to talk about, Jay?
We do. It's not a ton, but we do have some. There were some little things that I didn't put on here, but some interesting stories. Sonic scented candles from, I think it's
Finally.
Candy Air. I was like, what does Sonic smell like? What a hedgehog smell like?
We're about to find out.
I think there's like 3 of them. There's a blue, red, and yellow, I think.
Well, I know what my wife is getting for Christmas.
I think honestly, they're just like, it's just it's just kind of an image, and they are like citrus and general like candle scents, but I just thought it would be hilarious if they tried to make it like musky, like a hedgehog or something.
Is that what a hedgehog smells like? Musky?
I don't know. You ever smelled rodents?
Yeah,
only dead ones, actually.
Yeah, I imagine a hedgehog doesn't smell good.
Yeah. Yum. Hedgehog, my favorite.
What is the pink one?
That I don't know. I bet Ryan knows the character.
Amy?
It's Amy. Yeah, it's Amy Rose.
Okay.
Your heart is never wrong.
No, of course not.
That is the scent I want.
It comes with a sticker pack too. I mean, that's value.
See, what I'm gonna do is to set the mood with my wife.
Yes.
I'm gonna first light the Amy Rose candle. Your heart is never wrong, and then after our unimpressive lovemaking is finished,
yes,
I will light the Sonic candle. That is break the limits. Gotta go fast.
Yeah, gotta go fast.
We had things to do.
This is perfect. This is perfect lovemaking.
Yeah. So thank you. So if these candles work, I will name my first kid Sonic. That is what I will tell to these fine people who are making the candles.
They came out with a trailer for the second movie too, and I haven't seen it yet, but
I saw it. I liked the first movie a lot.
I did too.
It's dumb, but that's okay because it's Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It's dumb fun, and that's all it needs to be. I'm excited for the second one. I think the trailer looks really good.
Yeah. I already have a crush on Idris Elba, so I can't wait to transfer that right over to Shadow or Knuckles, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Knuckles.
These candles are $32.
$32 for one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I bought 12.
And that's not counting shipping. Yeah.
This is uncomfortable.
Is the lovemaking worth it? The cost?
I don't know. I told my wife every time under $20. All right, that's the entire budget I have per lovemaking session. It's $20. All right.
Also, Amy Rose is only available in the UK.
That's weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just asking Ryan, are you a fan of Jim Carrey?
I like Jim Carrey's more serious stuff, actually, more than his comedy stuff.
Hmm.
I tend to do that with a lot of comedians for whatever reason. Like I never liked Robin Williams' funny movies, but his more serious roles are amongst my favorite roles of any actor ever.
Yeah.
I think Jim Carrey's very talented. For me, a lot of those older comedies just don't hold up the same way to me. Like, I think Dumb and Dumber is still funny, but I like him, and I like him as a person. He seems like a very interesting guy, but would I put him like in my top 10? Probably not.
See that documentary that came out recently about when they made, was it Man in the Moon?
Yeah.
And he played I forget his name.
Andy Kaufman.
Yes, it was a pretty good documentary.
Yeah,
Really
and
got
Andy
into that
Kaufman
part.
was a very
He gets in
interesting
there.
man.
Yeah. Like wrestling women and stuff was
Oh, God.
just ridiculous. Couldn't handle it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, as a huge wrestling fan, like it's such brilliant bad guy work. Like it's such good heel work. Just like wrestling, finding like the biggest women he could wrestle. Like how much do you weigh? Like, 350 pounds. 350 pounds. That's a lot more than you weigh, Jerry Lawler. like making that seem like he's a badass because he's just so good. And it was so random too, like, because he was a big star at the time. That was the weirdest part about it. Like, he was actually like big star, and it's like, why is he just in Memphis, Tennessee, wrestling women? What is happening here?
So next thing on the list, Toki Tori, which I've never played, and Ryan probably owns it. Toki Tori for Game Boy Color is getting a re-release by Limited Run. And it's like the actual Toki Tori Game Boy Color game. And I thought this was interesting because I don't know how many re-releases in the same form have been made. I mean, a handful, I guess, for Super Nintendo and Nintendo, but
Yeah. I said Limited Run has done a couple of those for Game Boy games as well.
like Shantae, right? But
Yeah, they did Shantae, which I bought recently, and then they did I'll find the name of it at some point. But there was some shoot 'em up that was only available in the UK when it initially came out that they
right.
re-released for just everything. I usually don't buy those because I don't consider those part of completing the full Game Boy collection per se, but it's cool that they do those for sure.
Yeah. I just thought it was kind of a random entry here, Toki Tori. Like, why
I've
that
never
one?
heard of this game.
Yeah, it's a puzzle platforming game, which
Yeah, it
I
looks
think
pretty
it got
good.
good
I'm
reviews. I
watching.
literally saw it at the retro game store yesterday, and they were selling it for like $40 for the cart. But
It's
just
interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
I also feel
We
sometimes Limited Run just kind of like whatever they can get the rights to. So
true.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll put a game out. That's cool.
sure.
We did talk about some of the analog stuff. I was wondering if anything else we didn't cover. Talked about the groups upgrading. They upgraded like all the current orders to FedEx 2-day, which Ryan is getting his tomorrow, so that'll be interesting.
Yep.
You'll have to keep your eyes, if you're listening, keep your eyes on Ryan's Twitter. I'm sure he'll probably tweet about it.
Did you
About
not?
not opening the box and how great
Yeah.
it is.
How I just snuggle with it. I put it next to my Sonic candles and just set the mood.
So you didn't get shipping yet, Jay?
No.
No. Interesting. You started to get concerned about that? I would be.
No, I mean, I'm not the only one, so I think they're just going through like the order of orders.
Yeah,
There was
I bet what I don't know if you want to give this information. Maybe you can like just text to me. What's your I'd be curious. I was just to ask because like what your order number is.
I think it was like
what?
50,000 something.
Okay, yeah, I'm in the 49,000, so I'm priority. All right, that's
So mine's got to be coming, right? Yeah, you
Yep.
think.
Or maybe they
They,
only sent mine and they want to make sure that television superstar Ryan Niemiller is happy first.
Yeah.
And then once I give them the go ahead, everyone else will get theirs.
Yeah.
Jay, maybe it's time to start using some of that internet clout. Getting angry on the internet.
That's the opposite of me. I I'd be like,
that's why it'll be so powerful, because you're not that guy.
Exactly.
And like, oh man, he's really pissed about this. Maybe we should.
Analog, please. Can you just
Excuse me,
send
Mr.
it,
Log,
please?
Mr. Log.
Mr. Log, Mr. Analog. Could you?
It's long, it's big. They did raise the price from $199 to $219, which I thought was interesting, and that was because they said like the chips apparently are like $50 a pop for them to buy too, those FPGA chips. So I mean, $20 is not a huge thing, but I know some people had issues with that.
Just the price of like
You would think-
transistors and capacitors and stuff like that has gone up wildly during the pandemic as well as just shipping things everywhere. So not surprising. It's a pretty small increase in price, but really it's kind of hidden when you consider that when you actually buy this thing, it's really going to cost you more like $300 to $400. You know, it's like that $200 price is kind of a little bit hidden by the fact that it doesn't come with any accessories, and you're going to want those accessories, especially the dock.
Yeah, for me, the dock was the priority. I was glad I got the Game Gear adapter as well. I would have been okay not having that, but the dock, I want to be able to play this on the television. Because I already have a modded Game Boy Advance. So like if I just wanted a nice screen and all that, like the appeal for me is, I can use a controller and play it on my gigantic television. Like that's the real appeal of this for me personally.
The screen apparently is intense. Like it's like a really cutting edge screen. It's like higher DPI than any iPhone screen. And what makes it so cool is that it's like a 10x factor of the Game Boy resolution and the Game Boy Advance resolution. So there's no interpolation necessary. It's pixel perfect when the image is displayed on the screen. So it's really high quality. Also, they have a bunch of kind of effects that make it look like it's on the original hardware. Like everybody's seen the Game Boy, like they have that kind of pea soup background and like the lines between the blocks like the original Game Boy had. Or you could just turn all that off. You know, it really is a beautiful screen. And it's got Gorilla Glass on it, so theoretically it won't scratch too bad.
Did you guys watch the reviews on it at all?
I've watched a few, yeah. Everyone.
My Life in Gaming I watched twice.
What are the standout things about the Pocket that you guys noticed that were kind of surprising?
For me, it was the form factor, like we've seen the renders of it a lot, but I feel like this is the first time we've seen it in people's hands. It looks like a really high quality piece of hardware, right? It looks exactly like a Game Boy, but thinner. I was a little disappointed to hear that the D-pad isn't like 100%. You know, it's got a little bit of a problem, that kind of 8-bit do problem of like you hit down and you get a little bit of diagonal. But most people said it wasn't that big a deal, but almost everybody mentioned it.
I was impressed because the one thing that sort of worried me a little bit when I initially saw was how the games were gonna sit in the dock, because it's not guided anything. There's kind of like, it's just loosely in there. It looks like, because especially because the NES analog machine, like notoriously kind of if you weren't careful, and everyone, like the couple that I saw said that like the games are in there secure, you don't got to worry about stuff flying out, and I also thought it was cool that like you could put the game to sleep. And it'll like kind of save your space, and you could take the game out, do whatever you want, and then if you put the game back in, it'll still go back to where you were. I think that's just like a really, really nice. I mean, for me, I don't know how much I would be taking the game out in between kind of thing, but it's just like also nice if you're really particular about like, I don't want to scratch up my cart, so when I'm done playing, I put it back away. It's just nice you can put it right back in, and it's good to go.
That software that they revealed a couple months ago is still in development, but they are working on save states and like some pretty high-end features for that thing, which would be really nice. Sorry to interrupt, Jay. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I actually, to that point, Ryan, I found somebody's review where they said the opposite. Like they literally were like wiggling it like this, and he was playing Tetris, and he just went like tap, and the whole game froze.
Really?
And also when he tried putting it down, like face down on a table, like really softly, it froze the game too.
Hmm.
And there
I
was
watched one review that complained of that, but he was also kind of talking about how his cartridges weren't necessarily very clean.
Yeah, we watched the same review. Yeah.
Okay,
dude.
so like that could be it. And there are cartridges for the Game Boy that stick out above the Game Boy, like Pokemon Pinball is one. The Game Boy camera.
The Game Boy
are others.
camera.
Yeah. So there's
Which finally I can record my all my shows on the Game Boy camera.
Perfect to take them with you, right?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just cracking up because Briar's got a screwdriver in his hand.
Yeah,
Like playing with stuff.
yeah. He's basically like like Jay, if you badmouth this analog pocket that I'm so excited for right now, I am going right in your temple.
Waving a screwdriver around.
He's like, yeah, tell me more negative reviews you've heard.
Yeah.
Jay.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of thing too. I do wonder if there's going to be hardware variants, like between pockets. Like, can that slot be looser for some people than it is for others? Or was that just, the game was just kind of corroded? Tetris is literally the oldest Game Boy game, right?
I think it's close.
Probably,
If not,
yeah.
I think it was it was one of the day one or essentially day two releases for the Game Boy.
Was it a pack-in? It was a pack-in at one point. Was it
For a lot of
originally a
them.
pack-in?
It's a pack-in the U.S. at least for sure.
I'm trying to, because I have the original like boxes with everything in it, and two of the ones that I have do have the Tetris in it, and then one of them doesn't. But I think the one that doesn't was a later release.
Oh, really?
It's like an
That game is still fucking awesome. It's still my favorite version of Tetris.
Yeah.
The music's so
I
good.
think Game Boy and the NES ones are probably my two favorite as far
Which
as like,
NES
that
one?
style of just not the Tengen.
Not the Tengen? The Nintendo made one?
Yeah. The Tengen one's good. Like it's fine, but like I think the other one is just better.
I only have the NES one. I don't think I've ever played the Tengen one.
It's a little pricey to get a hold of.
It is.
Is it? I mean, I could emulate it, I guess. But
Yeah,
how
if
much
you want to
Tetris
go
does one
to
need to play?
jail, Briar.
Won't catch me, coppers.
You think I won't narc you right now? I will narc you so hard. I will sell you out unless you buy me 3 Amy Rose candles.
God damn, that's like $70.
That is my price. And it has to be
buy-
shipped from the UK because it's a
I can
UK
buy a PlayStation
exclusive.
5 kit cover for that.
Yeah. I will say those PS5 controllers look really sharp. I don't have a PS5 yet, and it'll probably be a while before I get one. The new controllers, the pink and the blue ones that they pre-ordered or put out for pre-order, look really nice.
Not those.
Yeah.
Those that one looks nice too, but the blue and the pink look really good.
I kind of want 2 of the covers, is one blue one and one pink one, kind of get like a retro wave kind of aesthetic. One side is blue, one side is pink, but that's like $110 worth of PlayStation cover. I'm like, I mean, that's just stupid.
Yeah. For a system that most people can't even buy. And,
Yeah. Well, now you even want it more.
yeah. You'll have the prettiest PS5 in the pageant.
That's right. Is there anything else about the Pocket we want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, like, there was a couple of things too from that same review that like the back of the pocket where the cartridge slides in was already getting like scratched up after a couple of days.
Okay.
Remember seeing that from the same
No,
review guy? I was like, it's gonna drive me insane. Like, I'm gonna be like very carefully.
You're gonna have like
being
tongs
gentle.
that you like sort of.
Wouldn't you rather have that get scratched than your cartridge, though? Like, I'd rather have that be the softer plastic
Well, it's
than
scratching
the
the
cartridge.
cartridge too if it's
Oh, is it?
abrasive. Yeah, I mean, it's normal wear and tear at a certain point, but it's gonna be tough to put some expensive carts in there for sure.
Yeah, just play the ROM.
I mean, I did see it was working with EverDrives.
Yeah, Metal
Yes.
Jesus Rock covered that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I might actually do that. Who knows? Or if they end up jailbreaking it, I don't know. But just the idea of taking like one cart or a couple on a trip or something like that, and only having 1 or 2 choices would be great for me because as soon as I have too many choices, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to play that. You know.
Yep.
So
I have that trouble with I love Game Pass so much, but I have that trouble sometimes. Like I want to play something on Game Pass, And I'm
Yeah.
like, nope, never mind.
You
I'll
start
just
scrolling through, you're like, yeah, this is too much.
yeah.
With
That's
Game
I
Pass,
mean,
though, it's like I would never play some of the games that I do play because they are on Game Pass. Like that, should you play that unpacking game on Game Pass, where it's literally you're just unpacking an apartment like 5 times in a row?
yeah, it's very soothing.
It's awesome, but I would have never paid money for it. I'll be honest, I would have never bought
Yeah.
it.
See, that's a game I can get my wife into because
Yeah?
she's not gonna play shooters with me. She's not gonna play sports like she doesn't have gaming stamina. Like she likes video games, but she can play for like 45 minutes and then she's like, okay, I'm done. So something like that's just like a little cathartic and just like, oh, it's very relaxing and no one's shooting at me, no one's yelling at me. I'm just putting stuffs on a shelf and then I'm moving on with my day.
Anything that I have trouble doing in real life, I do not want to play a video game of. Like Organization, Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, any of that, any of the like, oh, you're just farming in a video game. Like I can't even mow my lawn. I don't wanna
I'm
go-
with you, but unpacking was pretty cool experience.
Gotcha. I'll have to look into it if it's.
There
on
is
Game
lawn
Pass,
mowing
but-
simulator on there now too. So
Yes. Yes, there is.
Pressure washing
That's-
game. Like, what is our
yeah.
deal with playing
So-
games that?
So get really good at lawn mowing simulator. That way you can tackle your lawn in the spring.
get
Yeah,
your
there you
kids
go.
playing lawn mower simulator. It's training for
It's
when
like,
they're
you
old
know,
enough to
you
be on
can
the
do
mower.
this in real life.
It's so much more
What?
fun.
Graphics are so much better in real life. Yeah. So some sad news. Masayuki Yumura, creator of the NES and SNES, passed away recently. So he also was the one who created the like light gun and stuff like that, but the original Famicom was
Zapper?
his baby. Yeah, the Zapper.
Did he create the SNES, like the shell, the design of it, or did he? Is that what they mean by that?
He was
Creator
like
of?
the engineer, I think.
Yeah, I think
Really?
it's one
Like
of
the
the.
brainchild of both systems.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, that's sad.
It is sad. Yeah.
The story has a lot of other things that he worked on, and he retired from Nintendo in 2004 to be a professor at university in Kyoto. I can't pronounce that. It's like Ritsumaiken, maybe. But yeah. So this was a couple of days ago, I think, Thursday last week, at the age of 78. Rest in
Yeah,
peace.
That's a pretty good run.
Yeah.
If I make it into my 70s, I want to make it as long as possible. If I make my 70s, I'm content. I feel I will have
I was
gotten
reading some
a lot.
article about a Japanese drug that is supposed to drastically slow aging, but who knows? That could be bullshit. I read it on the
Was it
internet.
on
so.
some like?
Yeah, it was an email. Yeah, it was an email with dick pills.
It's gonna drastically extend something.
Like, oh, you
It's
don't say, Brian. Yeah, tell us
Yeah.
all about it.
All I have to do is order from this weird Russian website, and I will live longer and get a 12-inch penis. It's
I mean,
amazing.
you only take Bitcoin.
Yeah, right. The last thing that I had on here, I thought it would kind of spur conversation too. So I think I talked about it maybe the last episode or the episode before on heritage auctions, and I know all of the stuff going on. It's been very dramatic and a lot of kind of controversy and stuff going on between heritage auctions and WADA. But there was a copy of Super Mario Brothers first print at a 7.0 that went on heritage auctions recently, and I was watching it like a hawk because, for those who don't know, mine is also a 7.0. And so I wanted to see like what it was going to go for. Yes,
Yeah.
Ryan, I still have it, and I'll tell you
Yes.
why in a minute.
Okay, no, hey, I told you you don't need to rush out to sell it today, but if you had it like in 20 years still, I'd be mad
Oh,
at
yeah,
you.
no.
I believe that's what I said. If you still had
Yeah.
it in 20 years, you're a jackass. If
How
you still
much did
have
this
it
thing
now,
go
you're
for?
cool.
Is this like life-changing money?
Not life changing, but help with our down payment on our house. So it went for 38,000, including the buyer's fee. So all said and done, I think the seller probably ends up with about 30. Now, I don't think mine will go for that much because that one still had like the sticker on it, and I think it had a different manual, which might be the correct one, and mine might be the wrong one. So mine's not going to go for that much. But what it did do is it spurred my decision of like, I'm going to send this in ASAP. What does that look like? What are the what does the taxing of that look like? And so I like went deep dive into how much am I going to have to pay in taxes for this and all that kind of stuff. And I ended up finding there's two issues, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this. The IRS, it's one of two things. It's either a long-term capital gain because I've owned it for more than a year now. So that's an important piece. So I bought it in November of last year. I've owned it for more than a year. Long-term capital gain is for us potentially 0% interest or 0% tax or up to 15% if we go over the threshold in income, which we might not. Or if it's considered a collectible asset by the IRS, we have to pay like a flat 28% tax. So, and the IRS
Are you asking
does
us for? Hold on, I just want to clarify. Are you asking us for tax advice? Because
not,
I feel like we are
I just want your
qualified, Ryan.
opinion.
This is what I've been training for.
Right?
I got into stand-up comedy to help fund my dream of becoming a tax accountant.
If
So
there's
this is
anything
finally my
I
time
know,
to shine.
it's tax law.
No, I just want your opinion. So I already know what I'm planning to do, and obviously I want to do it right by the law and all that stuff. But on IRS's website, it considers long-term collectible assets as like stamps and coins and baseball cards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it considers things like cars and boats as a long-term capital gain.
Yeah.
It does not like there's no speaking of like entertainment collectibles or anything
So
like
stuff
that.
that the poors would collect, like baseball cards, fuck them, tax them. Stuff that the riches would collect, like boats. Oh, well, let's ease up on the taxes here. We don't want to.
Yeah, a little bit. A little
Yeah,
bit.
well, video game collecting is relatively new in
Right.
the grand scheme of things. So
Is there an established market?
yeah. My suggestion would be talk to someone smarter than us.
I completely disagree.
Yeah. Or this is a let's make a deal thing. Like you can either talk to an actual tax law specialist,
Yes.
or whatever bullshit Briar is about to say.
Well,
First of
you
all,
have to
why are
stick
you
with
even
one.
paying taxes?
so here's
That's
the deal.
my money, all right? I worked for it. No government's taking that from me.
I found somebody within the last, it was like May or June, who had a sealed Mario and ended up selling it for $225K. So this was the question he had, which obviously is a more pertinent question. And all of the tax pros that he talked to said, just like flat out, it's a collectible. You need to pay the 28%.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, it is subjective as to who thinks it is a collectible asset to the IRS.
Yeah.
Because there's no like form,
I mean, what is the IRS going to do? Come after you?
Well,
What are they gonna do? Ruin you?
Yeah, come on.
So my plan was to go with long-term capital gain and hope for the best. But I don't know. I might talk to somebody. Obviously, yeah, as Sonomini said, the cost would pay for an accountant. But my whole thing is like there's no underwriting law or specification to video games or this market that says it needs to be. And there's also some weird wording in the IRS because it says up to 28%, but all the tax professionals are saying it's flat 28%. So there's some miscommunication there as to what it actually is and means. It's just like it's dumb. It's dumb.
You know what?
Tax
I
law?
changed my
No.
stance. Never sell anything. I want you. I want you to die under a pile of your collect. I want
This
to
is
keep
something for your
building.
kids to worry about.
Yeah.
Leave this
Yeah,
mess to your kids.
yeah, collect until you are a burden on your family. That is what I.
It's going to be
recommend.
way easier for your kids to sell them at the garage sale for $5 each.
Oh,
Exactly.
no.
Or just make it really,
think all
make
the
it
trouble
really
you're
easy,
saving.
Jay. just go ahead and mail it to me, and I'll give it a good home. Like, how about we just do that? We'll just take care of it.
Right, I'll take care of this for you.
Whatsoever.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Don't worry.
I do also have another game that I might have this issue with too, a sealed Super Smash Bros. Which the
Wow.
market's hot on right now.
Oh, I
But I
bet.
do not have a 9 point some odd graded copy. That was the one where the person sent it in a bubble mailer
Oh, no. Charming.
with a bunch of other games. Yeah, so it got all dented up.
Nice.
Anyways, so that was my whole thing. I wanted to, yeah. So we can move on.
Yeah, just. Have you ever considered selling your house instead?
Mm-hmm.
Just live in your
Don't
car
pay tax
for a
on that
while.
either, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't
once you
pay
sell
tax on-
once you sell your house, there's nothing left for the IRS to take. So you really,
Yeah,
you can get away with
exactly.
selling a house tax free.
You get them right there. And then sell your plasma. That is the next thing.
At first, I thought you meant my plasma TV because I actually have one. I was like, how the fuck do you know I have a plasma TV? This
I
is
know a
creepy.
lot about you, Jay.
This is like 2006.
The cripple threat has eyes everywhere. All right, I know things. Exactly.
So, Briar, you got the next one?
Yeah, Zelda Ocarina of Time has been reverse engineered down to the code base, which means similar to what happened with Mario 3D World, Super Mario 3D World. We can totally expect this to be running on PC natively shortly. Not shortly, but, you know, they got this one licked. So imagine Ocarina of Time 4K, 60 FPS with ray tracing.
Wow.
That's the future that we're heading toward with Ocarina of Time.
So, like video on this, or
no? They just finished the project. It's not.
Okay.
It's not running on PC yet. They've just got the code. So the next step is to now recompile that code for PC or whatever.
So I know nothing about how any of this works, like from a technical standpoint.
Yeah.
However, it does seem baffling to me that essentially a bunch of really passionate nerds who are just fans of this figure this out, and then meanwhile Nintendo charges $50 a year
Yeah.
and can't even emulate it properly on their own stuff. Like that's mind-boggling to me that like they can't figure that out, and yet these people just are like, we like this, and so we're gonna go way above and beyond what should be possible and figure it out.
It should be
it's
way
just the
easier
aura.
for Nintendo to do too, because they have theoretically that original code base, so they wouldn't have to go through the process of deconstructing it. They would already have that. So to release it, as opposed to just putting it on an emulator and then putting it on another cartridge, to actually like make it native for the Switch would be a much better experience. But money, I guess.
yeah, I think for Nintendo, it's just a question of rate of, ROI, return on investment. They're like, is it worth it for us to spend, hundreds of man hours to get this worked out? Are we going to sell more copies if we do that? Or are people just going to eat up the nostalgia? So
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that, honestly. I suspect they would sell some more copies, but I don't know if they'd sell a lot more copies.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that's tricky, and it's very hard to predict. That like sometimes you can do that, and like in the immediate, do I honestly think that if Nintendo put a ton more effort into that, would they sell? No. In the immediate, no. But what are the long-term ramifications of like losing goodwill? I mean, video game fans are very flippant. Like look how fast everyone turned on Xbox. Like the 360 was very popular. They do one announcement of some bullshit stuff for the Xbox One, and Microsoft is still playing catch up. Like they're in a lot better place now.
They've done like everything right for like 5 years, I would say, and they're still playing catch up.
Yeah. So it's like there are some long-term ramifications. In the immediate, I'm sure what they had planned for the Xbox One seemed like a great idea. Like, oh yeah, we'll get this immediate profit and all this. But clearly that has now Nintendo's a different animal, that so many people have such deep nostalgia for it that they could be like, oh yeah, Nintendo murdered your mother, but here's a new Smash Brothers game. You're like, well, my mom was kind of a bitch anyway, so thanks for the new Smash Brothers. So like people have a lot. Exactly. Yeah, we'll put your mom's name in the special thanks, so your mom will be on there.
It's funny you mentioned that. I watched a short YouTube video about a guy who got sued for $1.5 million over like leaking the code to what was it, New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii. And at the end of the video, apparently Nintendo had like sent him one of the first amiibo or something like that. I don't know why, but he's like, I still love Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like at the end, like he just got sued for $1.5 million.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Plus
Yeah,
damages, plus having to pay for all the lawyer fees and everything on top of that.
Yeah, it is amazing what fandom, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, because I'm a big believer that you can like whatever you like, and because if you didn't like everything that had some problematic stuff, nobody would like anything. You know, it's like it'd be possible to have interests, because there's always going to be
this particular case though.
Yeah. For that particular guy, like if me like just being on this show right now talking about Nintendo and being like, I don't know if that's, and they sued me, fuck Nintendo forever. That would be, but like, unless they sent me a new amiibo, I guess that is my. As someone who collects a lot of amiibos, that would be the way back.
Which
to my
amiibo
heart.
was it?
Yeah. See, that's what I need to
Ganon.
know. That's very important to know.
Ganon.
Okay, I'm in.
Amiibo and Zelda? Yes.
Yeah, now we're talking.
So I think that's it for news.
All right. Should we talk a little bit about Shadowrun? Ryan, you picked this game. This was your pick, right?
Yes,
and I'm curious.
Shadowgate. I did notice there was some Shadowrun.
My bad.
Yep.
Type.
You're right.
Yeah, Shadowrun's been on the brain for there, but yeah, Shadowgate.
Shadowgate. Was this originally a PC game, or was this originally developed as an NES game?
I believe it was originally. I've forgotten what PC it was, but the nice little notes in here. It was for Apple Macintosh in '87.
I put Apply on here.
The old Apple Macintosh. Oh!
Did you play this as a kid, or was this a find that you?
I played this a shit ton as a kid.
Yeah.
So
did you want to inflict that pain on us as adults? Is that what you're going for?
I did. It's one of those things, and I replayed it a couple times over the last couple days here just to get it like kind of fresh in my mind. It's one of those games that, as a kid, when you have 5 games and a whole summer of nothing to do, you know, I remember us like getting like, you know, it might be a week before me and my buddies would find like a couple new things to like get a little bit further. But you had that time when you were 10.
Yeah.
As an adult, I could see very much how this would be frustrating. Even now, because I was trying to play it back from memory, because it's also one of those games that like, it's almost like a Legend of Zelda, the original one, a little bit. Like, initially trying to play it, you don't know what the hell's going on. You don't know how to solve these puzzles. You don't know how to find this stuff. But once you know. It's kind of just in your brain now how to solve these. And even this, I've played this game tons of times over the years. I still had to use a guide to finish it because a couple of the stuff was. It's not the worst version of this type of game where it's that unintuitive, but there definitely is some stuff that like, okay, how the hell would you figure that out?
Yeah. I gotta say, it's a really good. This is I guess you would call it a point and click adventure, right?
Yeah,
it's a really good looking game, considering that it's on the NES. I was really impressed with how good it looks. Like it's working with the limitations of the console, but damn, it's kind of impressive.
Yeah. I think that part of it they nailed, because I mean part of it too. It's just nice they can just draw images. There's not a ton of animation in it, just the base stuff. How it is. But I felt, and for me, it's one of my favorite soundtracks as well. I feel they did a really good job with the limitations of setting a tone for what this game is. You know, like when because you always have to have your torch lit, and when your torch is like, you know, you're about to die, that music still kind of brings me back to being like 9 or 10 years old, and my heart rate going, oh god, I ran out of torches. I gotta like this. Like it just
that happened to
really
me today. Last night I ran out of torches, and I was like, I don't know what to do now. I can't do anything.
You're fucked, Jay. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Get fucked.
I I mean, and that is a frustrating part of the game. And this was, the 80s where these type of games didn't handhold you or give a shit. You could get yourself into a point, like if you're trying to solve these puzzles and you run out of torches, well, game over. Start from the beginning again because there's just no way to continue at this point.
I mean, right from the get-go, I found this game to be extremely, I had to look at a walkthrough almost right away because,
Same.
it's pretty easy. Like, you get to the first screen, and there's not a whole lot, telling you what to do. I didn't have a manual, so if I had looked at a manual, maybe I would have had a better idea.
No, the manual doesn't help at all.
So I walk, I go forward, right, into the first room, and then I'm completely stymied. There's no direction to go, nothing to do in there. So I had to look at I spent 20 minutes clicking, trying every button. And it wasn't until I looked at a walkthrough, oh, there was a key above. I got to go back out, get the key, and now I go in. And it's okay. I see what we're doing here. We're leaving this walkthrough open.
Yeah. There's a lot of backtracking and a lot of stuff that you grab this item here and you don't need it for way deeper into the game that you'll use, and a lot of it's not very intuitive. I didn't use it on this. I'd be interested. Did you guys utilize the hint button at all?
I tried, and it's just don't quit now. I was like, that's not helpful.
Let me get my screwdriver.
As a kid, I didn't remember that. I think there's very few rooms where it actually, will be like, hey, it looks like the wall's a little weak. There'll be a couple things that are very specific. And then a lot of times it'll be, you can do it, buddy.
Thanks. Yeah.
Modern point and clicks, I feel like you just kind of click around, right? They're context sensitive. But in this game, you have to click over the action that you want, like look, open, throw, block, whatever. And there's all these different actions. So you literally are going back and forth between the selections and the stuff you want to click on. It worked okay though with the D-pad. It wasn't. Once you kind of get used to the flow of each room, it wasn't. I thought it was going to be a little annoying, but it ended up not being too bad.
Yeah. I was gonna say, obviously, that's been improved in more modern versions of this type of game. But given the limits of what that NES D-pad is and what you can do with those, 4 buttons and a D-pad essentially.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job. The only thing that that they could have probably fixed a little bit is, say for instance, you're trying to take an item from the screen, but your cursor was just slightly off, and you miss that. Now you have to go back down and hit take again, or you have to hit use again. You have to restart the whole process again on some of the stuff. Especially when you're using items together to combine them to do something. And oh, you accidentally hit the wrong button or you hit the wrong item. Now you have to go back again on your menu. And it can be a little taxing. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. It's just, like a lot of the games of this era, in 1989 or so when I was playing this game, I didn't notice. Now, I notice a lot on stuff like that.
I wonder if they took that into consideration with the time of the torches, if they gave us any more time on the NES, because obviously stuff takes longer.
Yeah, what I don't know the exact formula that they use. I guess the torch use is based on actions and movement, not actual real time.
Okay.
So if you just leave the game running and go eat dinner and come back, your torch.
If you got to call Nintendo Power, you're not going to run out.
Exactly. But so it's based off of taking items, moving to new rooms, that kind of ticks down. People who I think have figured it out for speed running, there's certain things that don't take the torch down. That's how they can kind of speed through fast, and the speed through is impressive. By the way, if none of you have watched it, it's
15 minutes or so.
Yeah, and there's even a shorter one there's item duping you can do basically to trick the game into doing stuff. I think it's 6 minutes is the record or something insane.
Wow. Getting extra keys and stuff.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Even when I was looking it up, long plays were an hour. So it wasn't if you know what you're doing, if you know exactly where to go and what items you need, it's not complicated. But figuring all that stuff out is going to be an eternity if you're not looking at a walkthrough.
Yeah. I was just gonna say quickly, I went to how long to beat, and it was 1 hour or 8 hours.
Yeah.
I would say realistically, depending on like what your patience and knowledge of this type of game is, your first play with no guides or anything, just trying to figure it out, it could take you, 8 to 12 hours, just depending on, what your skill. And then, like we were saying earlier, though, like once you know the puzzles, you know the puzzles. It's not like you have to go through that puzzle solving element in your brain again. You just know, oh, I open this. This item combines with this. You do this. If I go through there, I'm gonna die, so I don't go that way. Like you can pare it down very quickly. Like a second play would be a fourth of that, if that.
Right.
Jay,
You
you
can get
also
the
wrote
first
in the
play.
notes here that this was popular enough to prompt them to port over Deja Vu and Uninvited. I was wondering, Ryan, have you played either of those?
I have, yes, I've played both of those.
Are they as good, better, equal?
I think so. It's really weird how they did it. So on NES, the first one released was Shadowgate, but for PC, Shadowgate was the last one that got released. So Shadowgate, I think, is the most polished of them. So Deja Vu is okay. I think Uninvited was the first one, but it was the last one to go to NES. Uninvited is a little sloppy, especially if you played Shadowgate first. It's just like there's some quality of life stuff they did to make it prettier and make it just work better. I think they're good. For me, Shadowgate is the far superior one. I would go Shadowgate, Deja Vu, Uninvited for me personally.
Uninvited,
not
I think,
played
has
either of
really
the
good
other
box art, doesn't it? Am I crazy? Uninvited.
Uninvited has the skull, the like skeleton. I remember.
Oh yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then
I think
Deja Vu.
Uninvited's the most collectible of them. I think it's the
Yeah.
harder one to find.
Is it
Deja Vu has the like
Carmen San Diego?
Yeah, that's the Dick Tracy film noir kind of.
Why in Uninvited is the skeleton wearing a dress?
I don't know, because it's a lady skeleton.
Oh, it's like what's
I
the
thought it was a
lady
wizard,
from
but yeah, you're
Resident
right. It's like a
Evil?
nightgown.
What's the lady from Lady Dima something from
Demiscu. Or,
yeah, from
Oh,
Resident
yeah.
Evil? It's her skeleton.
Yeah, I thought it's a knight. I thought you were a wizard. That's a knight. Your very lucky wife when she comes in like all seductive in a nightgown. You're like, oh, cool wizard cosplay. That's really cool.
Let me get my wand.
That's awesome. Oh, it's Harry Potter night. Neat.
Sweet.
Leviosa.
There were
What
a
else?
ton of sequels for this too.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that the next one was on TurboGrafx.
Yeah, and like nobody know. Like I didn't know that existed until much later.
Have you checked that
in
one
life.
out?
I have not. No, so I've barely dipped my toes. I technically have a TurboGrafx. I don't know if it works. Like that's kind of how how long it's been.
It's in a box.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, TurboGrafx is it's expensive. I don't think this game is cheap to try to get a hold of. And I'm not a dirty criminal like you who emulates Briar.
I have a TurboGrafx, and it does work.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
hooked up.
Jesus. Complete in box or just complete like in the case is $400+.
Yeah.
There was a Shadowgate 64, a Shadowgate
Yeah.
Rising, also released on the N64. Oh no, that was unreleased. And then the remake in 2019, and a VR in 2021. I didn't
Yeah, I didn't know
realize
about
this
the
was
VR.
such a popular franchise.
VR could be fun for this, I feel like.
Yeah, I think for this style of game, I think it's been very. That seems to be where VR's strength is.
Yeah. There's a Game Boy Color version of it as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny because I ended up getting the Game Boy Color version. Like I wasn't even trying to get it. I'll talk about it in a minute, but I ended up getting a lot of games and this was one of them.
I kind of like that cover.
Oh yeah, it's great. And it has
the
the
sword?
shiny Game Boy Color. I just miss that so much, the shiny. Are there dragons in this game, Brian?
Kinda. At the very, very end, there's the behemoth. That's what you're trying to kill at the very end.
Okay.
Did
But
you?
you You literally only see it at the very end. And there's one room that there's a dragon that you only just see its eyes.
Jay, how far did you get in it?
Not very.
No.
I got to the room where the dragon was, or not the dragon, the thing in the far side of the room and there was all the weapons on the ground. And I was like, let me take the sword, you're dead. Let me open the thing, you're dead. Let me take the torch, you're dead.
No,
and then I was out of torches and I was like, all right.
You got to take the shield first. You grab the shield. And then you can block the fire.
Oh, there you go.
See,
I did. Yeah, I just ran out of torches and yeah. I just didn't want to start over again.
Yeah. And it's also a game too. If anyone's gonna actually like tackle this game and try to do it without a guide, get very, very comfortable with looking at the Grim Reaper's face. Because it is.
I died a lot.
This game, I mean, and this was the game. It's a lot of trial and error. It's just it's potentially hundreds of deaths as you're like, well, nope, that item didn't work on that. Okay, no, this item didn't work on that. No, grabbing this got me killed. There's a lot of. They actually did a re-release for modern consoles. They did like the 8-bit anthology, which is how I played it again on my Xbox Series X. And most of the achievements for it are dying in this specific way. So it's not beating the game. It's you went here and you died. You went here and you failed.
That's great. I don't know. This isn't my type of game, but I appreciate it for what it was. It was very difficult. It was very, I would say, obtuse, but I could see like once you kind of get sucked into it, you're definitely going to want to keep playing it. And as a kid, like I could especially see how it's just a complete time suck where you're really like kind of poking at every wall. It's kind of like Myst in that way. Is you just gotta kind of poke at every wall until you kind of discover the route through.
And it is one of those things too that if you have the patience to do it, and that's part of it. We're all adults. We don't always have
unlimited time,
hours to dedicate to failing over and over. But it is one of those games because I remember very distinctly. It was this and the original Metal Gear kind of gave me the same feeling too. Like when you get stuck on something for just what seems like forever, and then you finally figure it out, it is such a rush of like accomplishment that you feel. These type of games I feel are really good for that if you have the patience to get through banging your head against the wall for potentially days. It
was so fucked back then too, because you had no way out, right? If you're stuck, you were just stuck. Like maybe if you're lucky, Nintendo Power had done an article and you own that issue of Nintendo Power, which I didn't. Or you could spend $5 a minute of your dad's money to call
which was not happening in the Niemiller household.
No, absolutely not. So it's like you're just like, I mean, you would literally just wander around like poking at everything in a game like that until you just lucked into it, right?
So I had a couple friends that I lived near just because we would always go over to each other's houses and play games. So that's the only reason we but like, because I remember having the same type of thing when I played Link to the Past for the first time, where you could play you play the game at night, then you go into school the next day.
Yes.
And your buddies who also have it, you kind of compare notes for like, oh, I got stuck here. What do you do? Oh, you do this. Like,
yeah.
This was.
But half the time, your buddy's full of shit, so you gotta be careful of that.
Sure, exactly. It's like, at the end, you get to see Zelda naked.
Yeah,
it's wild. But like this is a game like I feel of the trio of these games, this is the most popular. But this wasn't exactly a game that I think every kid had to own. This isn't Mario 3 or anything like that.
No, yeah.
So I didn't have any friends at school who were also playing this that you could like go and compare notes at recess with.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you were have graph paper when you played this the first time?
I did draw a little map. Yeah, kind of thing. This sort of thing. Because there is some background. And like in hindsight, it's not that complicated of a map per se. Like you can get where you need to go relatively quickly. But it felt very daunting when you're 9.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I bet it was. I don't know. I was glad we played this one. It was hard. I don't know that I'll ever play it again, but I'm glad to have played it. I might just follow the walkthrough far enough to just finish it, just so I have that.
and I feel sometimes it's not like this game is like super story intensive, but I'm a big proponent of this as an adult anyway. I am very pro walkthrough. Because again, we have limited time, limited resources.
Yeah.
We have responsibilities. Sometimes you just want to see a game to the end. You know, so my general rule on any game, I'll try something. If I get stuck on a puzzle, I'll give it an honest effort a few times. But if I'm like, okay, this could take me hours, I go right to the internet and I look it up because my time is precious to me. So I want to, I just want to see the end of a game. You know, you don't always have to be, because the only people that care are nerds on the internet who think that's not the way to do it. And it's just
the only people who care is the people I don't care about.
Exactly. It's just like just play games. If you don't want to do that, also awesome. Like that's
it's supposed to be fun, asshole.
Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah, I'm like that too. Like if I get stuck and I don't like look it up, the chances of me just like stopping playing that game forever are too high that I'd rather just, find out what the answer is and move on.
Sure. I was gonna say being able to save at any point in this game is pretty key.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can try stuff out, and if you fail, you just pop right back into the spot you were at.
Yeah, and they also I played the I don't think they did any changes, but also like if you do die, it puts you just right in the last room before that. So it's not like it totally destroys you in that play session either, where you're like, well, I wish I would have saved 18 rooms ago because now I gotta find all this again.
So there must be a battery backup in this cart then, right?
There is, yes. Okay. And you can do up to 3 different file saves.
I shouldn't have deleted the first one on the cart that I got because I wonder how far it was.
Yeah, I always like looking at that. It's like if I get a cartridge that has like a couple of files, I'll make mine the third one, right? So I can just start from fresh. But I like after I play the game for a while to see where those other ones are.
That was always a fun part of like renting games as well. Like when you just say like, oh, how far in Zelda did he get? I need to beat this guy, or just somebody who like. I just remember a couple games having like back and forth battles, essentially with like the same, like me and some other guy kept renting it back and forth. So like we just delete each other's games each time.
Oh, son of a bitch!
I do it.
I had Sword of Vermilion for the Genesis, and I lent it to a friend, and he continued my save file as opposed to just starting his own, and he beat the game on my save file, which I had not beaten it yet. So now I was like confronted with the option of having to start from scratch to if I wanted to beat the game. I was so mad at him. Jason Gorelli, I remember, motherfucker.
I was gonna say, hopefully you're not friends with that person anymore, because that is unacceptable.
You want to do some pickups?
Yeah. What'd you guys get?
I got Shadowgate.
Nice. Got it.
Got it.
You did it.
Achieved. I actually really like this cartridge, though. I only got the cartridge. I didn't get the box or anything. But I really like the art that's on the box with the kind of is it a gargoyle, I suppose? With and he's breaking out of the stone. And then, I don't know, there's something about that fucking bright green Goosebumps font that I really enjoyed. And it's on the edge as well, so you can easily see it. And then it's got a gold Nintendo sticker on the back, which I was kind of...
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. It's gold.
The gold sticker, it means that it has a battery backup save.
Oh, is it? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's news to me.
Anything that has that means it has a save on it.
And this is a pretty common cartridge, too. It cost me, I think, $9. And they had like
super hard to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the few. I don't with NES, anything that's cartridge based, I don't go out of my way to collect complete just for pricing reasons. I'm not a madman like Jay. You have some very cool shit as a result. However, I just don't. Yeah. I mean, as much as I think you're crazy for that, you think I'm crazy for being a completionist, which is why I have NSYNC get to the show for Game Boy Color now. Yeah, but this game, any games that were really important to me or that I really loved growing up, I did go out of my way to get this one complete in box, just because I think it's very pretty.
Yeah, it is. The art is awesome and a product of its time.
Did you get anything in the last few weeks, Ryan?
Honestly, I've pumped the brakes a little bit. I made a really large purchase of about $3,500 worth of games, maybe 2-3 months ago.
Wow, was that like a lot?
It was a big lot. So there's a buddy of mine who, he became a buddy. He was a fan from AGT, and he's just like, he's a speed runner, and he's just collected over the years. He's paring his stuff down because he basically him and his wife just live on the road kind of thing. They just like have a van, and she's like a travel nurse, and he works on race cars and stuff. They have a pretty cool setup for their
That
life.
sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty dope, and they're both wonderful people. But he just has a bunch of stuff back at his like, I guess like his parents' house or something, and he's just trying to pare it down. And so he had just tons of like NES and N64 and GameCube and just a ton of stuff. And I made a little deal with my wife. She's very my wife is cool because as long as we run stuff by each other, we make our own money. We have our collective money that goes for the important stuff. As long as you can kind of give a reason for like, hey, this is what this should be worth. This is what they're offering me. This is why I'm buying it now. Cool. But part of the agreement to that, and part of it was imposed on myself, was, hey, I just spent $3,500 on video games. I'm probably going to take it easy a little bit the rest of the year. And that's kind of what I've been doing. Most prominently, though, I did get Shadow of the Ninja for NES a couple weeks ago. There's a video game store just outside of Naples, Florida. It's my favorite video game store in the entire country that I've been to so far. It's called 8-Bit. And he always takes care of me down there because I spend a lot of money usually. So he gave me a pretty good deal on the couple things I bought.
Nice. But is it weird that my brain goes, so your buddy that you just got a big lot from to give you a good deal, and is he still looking to unload some stuff?
Well, I get first crack. So yeah.
Okay. All right. But
he does have a lot of other cool stuff. Like he basically gave me just like a huge master list, and I picked and chose, like, I didn't grab anything I already owned kind of thing. So potentially he has some other stuff you would want, but I get first crack. All right. I get
we'll
tips.
talk.
Don't try to snipe my source here.
No. It's funny too, because the dude that I got that Panic restaurant from and a couple of other games, he's got to be an older guy, and he's starting to sell sealed stuff now. And he had a sealed Hagani.
Ooh.
It was not in good shape. It had like
Hell.
little holes in it and like shelfware and stuff. I think he's just an older guy who just had these things and didn't really realize, or he was a collector for sure, because he's got like Bonks and Little Samson and a bunch of other stuff. But he had listed it for 2,500 starting bid or best offer. I quickly gave him an offer of 2,500. Now, for anybody listening, it goes for 3,500 complete in box, not even sealed. Just for the record, and I gave an offer of 2,500. He countered with 3,500, and I thought about it, and I was like, $3,500 for us is like it's 2.5 months mortgage. Like, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a huge chunk.
And in that 5 minutes of me thinking about it and thinking about how I would make it work, moving stuff around and stuff, he must have made that same offer to somebody else, and somebody else snatched it up. Which actually was a relief to me.
Yeah,
in that moment,
I don't blame you.
Really nice. Where it's like, oh, thank God. I've had that too. Like on eBay, where you like you bid on something, and then immediately you're like, oh God, that's too
somebody
high.
else, please.
Please, somebody bid. They do it. You're like, yes. God, my wife's not gonna kill me. Yes.
Sometimes I need to save myself from myself, because that's one of those scenarios where this game, even though it's a rough seal, is probably worth 5 to 10 grand.
Yeah.
So I'm like, my brain goes to what it's worth and what they're selling it for, and the FOMO gets to me a lot of the times. But I'm just glad it was just a lot of money, and I'm glad that somebody else snagged it. Because
the thing that I always have to remind myself in those situations, and luckily I've been able to talk myself off the edge more often than not because of this, is, and I think we've talked about this a little bit before, Jay, like getting something at a good deal, because like, oh, it's, I'm paying 3,500, but it's worth 10 grand. It's not worth 10 grand if you're not going to sell it ever.
Right.
If it's just putting in your collection, no, it only costs $3,500. It didn't, like all of the value is only theoretical if you will potentially sell one day. If you're not, and I'm not saying, and that's not me judging anyone, like for some people just owning that cool thing, that is worth the price. Like that doesn't mean it was a waste of money by any means. But I always have to talk myself down where I'm like, well, my collection's worth this, but I'm like, I'm not gonna sell this shit anytime soon. So it's actually worth nothing other than what joy it brings me.
I need to get there. I'm still far and away
Yeah.
from that. My brain still goes to the what it's worth versus what I'm paying. Even though
Yeah.
I sell stuff that's like doubles, or if I'm upgrading, I'll sell the old one
Yeah.
or something like that. But
Oh,
yeah.
and I'm not gonna say value doesn't factor in because that's like it's part of the uh kind of the bragging rights of being a collector is being able to kind of like, oh, you have this, Jay, I have this. This is what this is worth. That's what that's worth. Like that. That's kind of part of the kind of dick waving that collecting is. So it definitely factors in. I've just had to learn to not make it be, well, I have to buy this because it's worth double. I
Right.
have to have it
Yeah.
because you really don't.
Yeah. It's true. My brain goes, I'm probably not going to find this in this condition for this price ever again. So then that snags me like, oh, I need to buy it, if I want a chance to get it and not overpay for it down the
Right.
road. But to your point, yeah, like you don't need that stuff. I I got a lot of stuff recently. I'm gonna not show
Yeah.
everything.
You just don't need to buy stuff. Here's the 6,000 games I bought. Over the last-
So I started buying on Mercari in the last month.
What's Macari? I'm
Some
not
good and
familiar with
some
that.
bad. So Mercari is kind of like it's a mix between eBay and Facebook Marketplace. It's more personal. It's a smaller marketplace, but people ship stuff as opposed to meeting face to face, which is what I prefer. Shipping things. And the positive is I've found some good stuff and we're going to talk about it. The negative is 40% of everything I've ordered has been canceled. And
Wow.
I've ordered
Sweet.
like almost 40 things, and 40% of it, almost half, has been canceled.
Why
And
is
it's
that?
rough because I snag stuff really quick within like a minute or two of it being listed, and then sometimes it gets canceled within the hour, other times it's days later. So I'm like all excited about this deal I got on this game, and then it gets canceled, and I'm just like, literally the other day I was so frustrated and upset. I was laying in bed looking at my phone, like 3 things within an hour got canceled from different sellers, and I was just like, I'm so mad right now.
Is
Now,
it people
are they
just
giving?
realizing that the thing they sold you was actually worth more than they got for it?
No, what I think is happening on that marketplace is people are sniping. People are, because you can easily click sold and see all of the sold listings. So what I think is happening is people are going and contacting those people and not honoring the deal that somebody else got. They're like trying to snake their way into this person. And so, like, I've done that before and been like, "Hey, do you have any other games?" And like, "I've gotten so many messages and I didn't realize this game was worth $300 and they sold it for 20 and stuff." I'm like, people are telling them, either people are snitching or people are trying to get deals.
Stitches get
And
stitches, Jay.
yeah, and what happened, one
Trying to
of
break some
them,
legs. You want my screwdriver?
yeah, and there's
Yeah.
no recourse. There's no recourse for people to cancel. Like, if they cancel too much, then they like get dings on their account. But theoretically, like, it was so frustrating because I bought a couple of Genesis games that I was excited about, and the person seemed super nice, and I was being nice, and they're like, "Yeah, it should go out tomorrow." And then Monday morning, they canceled and blocked me. And what blocking means is you can't send messages, you can't follow, you can't buy anything from that person. I was like, why would that happen? Like, what's the scenario where we're having a conversation and getting excited, and then they would cancel and block me? Like, what happened? I don't understand. And they're not the first person. Like, a few other people have like canceled and blocked me. And I'm like,
I would take
Yeah.
this personally.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, it's very
I have
frustrating.
found like I think you're probably right that it's people sniping or
Yeah,
like
they're
convincing them to. And then I don't think the
I'll give you
the
double.
blocking has to do with that. I think it's more the blocking is those people are now embarrassed and
Right.
don't want to have
I
to tell
can't
you.
if somebody cancels it, I can't give them feedback anyways, but what I could do is buy something else from them and, like, leave negative feedback, so they're probably
Right.
trying to avoid that kinda thing.
Yeah. I have learned that like I love video game collecting. I have met some wonderful human beings. Nobody in this room right here, but like I've met some good people because of video games, video game collecting. Um, some collectors are just the fucking worst. like the people who are like sniping people and so I think I've talked about him. I might have talked about it last time, but I know I've talked to him with you, Jay. So my buddy Todd has one of the coolest video game collections probably in the country. Like he has a full in-box NES collection. He has the highest graded stadium events known to man. Like
Wow.
he's got great shit. He
And he lives
cannot
in a trailer.
Yeah, he does. Yes, he lives in a bunker. Um, but like he tells me because like, we're good friends. Like we're just buddies anyway, and he will tell me about just because he's like in some high end collecting Facebook groups and stuff like that. Just all day, every day, people just messaging him trying to like sneak their way into like, are you gonna sell that? You want to sell that? I'll give you that. Like just all day. It's like I love this hobby. I never hope I become that guy where I'm like so desperate to have X thing that I'm suddenly like, well, I'm gonna try to see if I can fuck Jay over so I can get the copy of this. You know, it's like it's not worth it to me at that point. Like it seems very, very because like at the end of the day, you have it now. Awesome. Nobody
Yeah.
likes you.
So I have the mentality where it happens a lot because it's a game of seconds a lot of the times on eBay or wherever else where if you're literally 1 second slow, you're out. Um, and it's frustrating because you're like you see this great deal, you get all excited, you're like frantically trying to check out, and then somebody snags it before you. It's like, oh, you get your hopes up and all that stuff. Like that's a frustrating feeling. But I let it go. I'm like, I didn't get it. Somebody else got it. Good for them. You know what I mean? Like I like pass from that point. And
Because
it's like
a situation like that, it's head to head. It's just like, oh, they checked out for they didn't deliberately tell you like
right.
that person, hey, I'll like screw that guy. I know you already made the sale, but here's what I'll do. That's
Yeah.
just, hey, they were faster to the punch and salute to you.
So that's why it's frustrating on Macari when I feel like I'm faster and I got the deal, and then I feel like other people are sneaking in there. I'm like, you're not honoring the integrity of the deal. Like I beat you, and now it's just so I might stop using Macari. It happens way less on eBay. Maybe 1 in 20 orders gets canceled, and usually it's new sellers on eBay, people that have like they don't understand, they don't know how much the fees are, they don't know what shipping takes and all that. Like it's more of a logistical thing. On Mercari, like these are all sellers that have sold stuff before and things like that are canceling, which is it's
Yeah.
just yeah, they just
I've
don't
honestly
understand
had really
value.
good luck on eBay. I've only had one order canceled. And the only and this one, it's the only time in the history of eBay, it's the only time I've ever given negative feedback. Was because I basically it was an auction deal and like it ended at like 3 a.m., which is where you can sometimes catch deals because a lot of normal people are asleep,
Yeah.
so they're not bidding at the same time. And it wasn't even. I think it was like Super Mario World. It wasn't even anything that was like that crazy. But I won the auction for like $11 instead of like the 20 it goes for
Mhm.
because I won it at 11. He canceled it and told me I lost it, and then like 3 days later put the game back up for another auction. And I was like, you can fuck yourself. Like that's what just like you sometimes don't get what it's worth, and that's the risk you pay for, putting up as an auction. But like I didn't do anything nefarious. I just won the auction low.
Right. Yeah. I I could talk to you about it, but I was to the point where I was using an app that it was able to see things on eBay being listed before the website or the app would list them because it didn't put like it didn't use any of the CSS, it didn't use any of the like advertisements, any of the extra bloat for a website to load. It literally just loaded description, pictures, and then you could click buy it now.
Oh,
So
okay.
literally the second something was listed, it would pop up on this app. So and I you could do that, and for anything that was buy it now, you could just click it, and it was like list, click, click, done. Like 3 seconds, and I was getting so many things, uh, so fast. And yeah, a lot of those things, people were literally like, "I didn't even have a chance to edit it. I made a mistake. I have to go back." Like I was like, "Okay, I understand that."
Yeah.
You know, but when it's days later,
Yeah.
and it's like you're expecting them to ship it and then they cancel it is the frustrating thing. So for me, a lot of the times on eBay now, I'm like, all right, I got a good deal on it. Now roll the dice if I'm actually going to get it. Like when it came to the Marios, the first prints, I was like, I don't know if they're actually going to ship it. Like somebody could easily message them and be like, that's a first print. That's worth way more than what you wanted for it. So I'm like, I try not to get my hopes up, but when it's like order after order after order after order getting canceled, it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I've generally learned that like with most things, like I've tried to make this in my life with, especially over the last like year and a half, with how many of my like shows have been canceled based
Yeah.
on like new restrictions. I am a big proponent now of like it's okay to be like excited, but don't ever put like all of your hope into something until it's physically you're either
Yep.
holding it or you're
Yep.
on stage. Like
Right.
when I'm actually on stage, I'm like, okay, this is
Hey.
happening.
Yeah.
If oh I checked my mail and now I'm holding this game.
Probably should have wrote
Great.
some material.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm so unprepared.
So I can show you all what I got. So obviously I got the Shadowgate. As soon as Ryan told me the game, I was like sneaking on eBay trying to find a decent copy of this. I got it for a
That's a
decent
good looking
price,
copy.
but yeah, no, now if I'm buying, I'm at the point now where if I'm buying individual copies, I'm trying to look for the best copy at the best price that I can. For the
Mhm.
longest time, I was just like, I just want the best deal, regardless of condition, and I can upgrade later. So now I'm kind of at the point where I'm wanting better condition stuff. Um, it's in good shape. It still has or no, that doesn't still have the cart bag. I thought it still did, but it doesn't. And then as part of, I got, speaking of Mercari, so I've said this before. Anytime I get a good deal on online shopping, I ask two questions. One, please ship in a cardboard box,
Hmm.
please, with packaging. Two, do you have anything else that you're looking to sell? I might want to make a package deal. That happened with the Game Boy lot. I asked the second question. He's like, yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. What's your email? I'll send you some pictures. I'm like, first of all, Mercari doesn't like that at all. You put your email
No.
in and they immediately delete it and they warn you. They're like, don't do that. So, um, yeah, so I may have made a deal off of Mercari for this stuff, but um, yeah, which I'm glad for because had I done it on Mercari, somebody else would have
Yeah,
done the thing.
sniped it and told it.
So, yeah, I mean, he thought it was a fair deal. I basically paid him 40 to 50% of market for most of this stuff. I gave him an offer. I was like, this is the best I can do. He's like, I can work with that. So, and they were fair as far as like, 40 to 50%. It's like
Yeah.
after fees and stuff anyways, you're getting 70 to 80. So it's not a huge
Yeah,
difference.
and a lot of times it just depends on what their priority is.
Yeah,
Some
they wanted
people
to
are,
get rid of it.
some people are just trying to pare down, and I know for me personally, I've gotten a lot of good deals, and this is how I would do it too. I would rather get a little less money for somebody I know who's going to take care of the stuff that I've been passionate about
Hmm.
than give a good deal to somebody who's going to flip it or or where that's the intention.
Right.
So I would rather like, okay, yeah, I know I could technically get more money, but I know you'll appreciate this more. So, and you're not just going to sell it next week at the
Right.
actual value. So,
Yeah, and actually some of the stuff in it's in such good condition. This is an indication of the condition of everything that I bought. Like it looks like he bought all this stuff, unwrapped it, put it on a shelf and never like the games, the labels, everything looks basically
Yeah, I
untouched
think it was
for
brand new.
most of the stuff that I got. And so I was able to upgrade like 4 games in my collection because of the 4 or 5 games. So then I like sell the doubles and put them at market and get almost most of my money back. Which, I mean, I'm flipping stuff, but, like, flipping my older kind of
yeah, you're flipping your doubles. You're not
yeah,
flipping the deal that he gave you. That's a different animal.
yeah. So I thought this was an interesting to show. I got my first Nintendo Power from the
Oh,
Video Game
nice.
History Foundation. My
Nice.
first Nintendo Power. I haven't even opened this one yet. The last
That's
few
cool.
yeah. So it has Super Mario Land 2 preview. So this is, like, Super Nintendo. Volume 42. The answer to everything.
Anything with a picture of Darth Vader on it is cool in my book.
Yeah, right. Um, I got a completed. This is one of the things I ended up that I did get on Mercari. A complete inbox PSP for like $80. PSP 3000.
Nice.
So the buttons are a little sticky on it. I have to figure that out, but otherwise good shape. And
You know, I've heard of going for a lot of money are the PSP Go's. Remember the digital only
yeah,
PSPs?
they are.
Which can you
Because
even buy
nobody
games
wanted
for
'em.
them anymore? How do you play games on them anymore?
It's all digital.
Yeah,
They
but
didn't have
isn't
front
that
spot.
store closed? The PSP store? Like, can it?
If you have an account, I don't know.
I know they're because they had the big issue. They
Emulation.
were closing down PSP Vita and PS3 stores. I think they reopened the PS3 and Vita. I think they still closed down the PSP store.
Probably for emulation then.
Is there a
PSP was big
SD
on
card slot?
emulation,
There must be, right?
probably. I feel like you'd appreciate this. This was actually something I ended up getting on Mercari. No
No
Mercy for
mercy.
N64.
Nice.
And I've had the box and manual for a good while. So now I actually have a complete copy. And for those, and you might be interested in this, there's a copy of No Mercy that exists. That's a reprint
It was like a
that
reissue that you had to like mail, or like you had to mail in a complaint, basically.
because there's a game breaking bug on this game that shuts down your entire, it like deletes everything and like screws everything over. So there's a version of this that has a -1 next to the USA on the bottom that's worth like $400 or $500 right now. This is not that, but
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
always on the lookout for that.
because that, yeah, I always look too. Like I've never stumbled across one because that game itself is not very valuable or rare. Like it's pretty easy
Right.
to. It's a great game if you're a wrestling fan. It's a fantastic game, but it's not exactly collectible in that form. However, if you
Yeah.
find that -001, you're in for a treat.
Yeah, right. I'll just quickly go through some of this stuff because there's quite a bit. And this isn't even everything. I just picked out the better things. All right. So Final Fantasy Tactics A2 complete. For anybody who likes Final Fantasy Tactics. I got Wampum for NES,
Okay.
which
Very
is more,
PC nowadays.
Wow, look
Yeah,
at
right.
that. Let's look
It's
up some
more of
video of this game.
an obscure. It's actually a really good game. I played it a little bit to test it, and it's a really it's rated well, and it's a really like responsive adventure like platformer game.
Oh, this looks really
Yeah,
good.
it's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's just it's one of those things you kind of like, well, no.
Yeah, not very PC at all. Nope. So actually, this was from a viewer. Uh, this happens sometimes where I'm talking about retro games. They're like, I have a bunch of retro games, and I'm like, send me pictures. I'll send you an offer. And I tell them up front, I'm like, I'll give you 40 to 60% of market. And they're like, yeah, dude, I just want to get rid of it. And the reason that he did that is because he had a fucking Panic Restaurant. Because I was talking about getting Panic Restaurant, and
Get
so
out.
I bought a second one from him to like, and he knows the deal. I'm gonna sell it, but I'm keeping a few games from the lot. But it also had a bunch of Blockbuster Video permanent marker on it, so I like was able to get it off Panic Restaurant, which is an expensive game, and clean it up, which I was pretty proud of. But yeah, so that was one of the games that I'm keeping. Banjo Kazooie. This is again from the guy, the complete inbox Game Boy game
Okay.
stuff. Grunty's Revenge for Banjo Kazooie, which is it's a all of these are like well rated. Like all of them are well rated from him. So he like only collected good stuff. So Banjo Kazooie, Grunty's Revenge. This is your favorite game, Briar. The Smurfs Nightmare for Game Boy
Hell
Color,
yeah.
which is actually a good game. It's getting
Yeah.
like it got like 7s and 8s
Wow.
and stuff like that, which I thought was hilarious. I thought it was a garbage game. Did you know Mortal Kombat 4 was on Game Boy Color?
Oh man, I bet that's a shit
Gee.
show.
Yeah, that cannot be good, right?
No, it's I don't think it is. Doom for Game Boy Advance. This is the only game that I got from this guy that's beat up. Like it's crushed. Like it looks like it was stepped on or something. Dragon Warrior 1 and 2.
I'm
Okay.
looking at video Mortal Kombat 4. It's what you imagine it would be.
Which actually this one, so I thought I had a complete copy of this and thought it was an upgrade, but the copy that I have is sealed, so I didn't even have a playable copy. So now I have
Oh,
a playable
nice.
copy.
Did that say 1 and 2, or did that say 2?
Yeah.
It's
1
1
and
and 2.
So is it a remake?
I think
Yeah,
it's basically just a port.
Yeah, it's like a port. I think it's slightly changed a little bit, 'cause I think that's what the mobile ports are based on, is that version, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
It does say newly enhanced graphics with larger, more detailed characters and backgrounds. All new cinematics explode with brilliant colors. Yeah. Cool. An actually good Superman game for Game Boy.
There had to be one of them.
Because this the pictures and the video looks, and it got good reviews. It's kind of like the old Batman game
Wow.
from the original Game Boy as well. Shining Force for Game Boy Advance, an RPG
Okay,
game.
nice.
Wow, I thought that series was just on the Genesis. I didn't know it ever came to the Advance.
It's not there's a few versions on like really weird stuff.
Is there?
This is another game that I actually only had a sealed copy of, so now I have a playable copy. And I was looking, it was so perfect. I was looking for this game for a long time. We've been talking about it. Metroid
Ah,
Zero Mission.
nice.
I have Fusion complete in box. I did not have even a cart copy of Zero Mission, and these are going for a lot right now. It's
Are
going
they?
down a little bit, but it's like $100 for the cart. It's like 80 to $100 for just the cart right now. It's
I'm
ridiculous.
gonna buy that because I want to play it. That's a remake of the original Metroid, right?
Yeah, correct.
For the advance, I want to play that. That's one of the games I want to play on the Pocket.
And
Yeah.
then last, but certainly not least, as soon as I saw this picture, uh, in the pictures that he sent me, my heart started racing. Castlevania Legends
Oh,
Whoa.
nice.
for Game Boy complete in box, which is like the rare. It has like one little crease there on the side, but otherwise it's in amazing shape. The cart
Yeah.
looks like it was unplayed. Like the label has that like matte sheen to it with the definitive stamp on it. It just looks so nice.
Yeah. I have that cart only, and the cart only ran me 100, I think, and I got it a couple
Wow.
years
Double
ago.
that
So
now.
yeah.
It's double that now.
Is that the first one that came out for the Game Boy that they took out of the canon?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
It's
Bad.
very cool though.
Yeah.
That's the winner in my book here.
Yeah. I'm trying to read the back.
I mean,
The
Wampum
the
was
history
obviously
of
the winner, but
Castlevania starts here. It says the history of Castlevania starts here.
okay.
So it's like I think it's like a prequel, but it came out like later, I think. Didn't it? It says 97.
I'm not that familiar with the Game Boy Castlevanias. I know there's one of them that they kind of took out of the lore of Castlevania because it didn't fit in with the rest of it.
Gotcha. It says enter the heart of evil as Sonia Belmont, the first of the legendary vampire hunters. And then it has you fight Dracula.
Nowadays, it'd
Yeah.
be online protests. We can't have a female Belmont.
Not my Belmont.
Yeah, that one guy, it was pretty awesome. And it got a little expensive, but yeah, I was happy with the deal that we made for sure.
It's awesome.
Okay.
That's a hell of a haul.
Yeah, that is
that it?
that is still one of my goals for 2022. I'm about halfway through my Game Boy collection, and I wanna see if I can clean that up and get it as close to done. And see where that goes. I've been lucky enough to catch some of the heavy hitters.
What are
just
the
with
heavy
good
hitters
deals
on
before
Game
they're-
Boy?
So this is according to price charting, which your mileage varies on how accurate that is. But Spud's Adventure and Amazing Tater, those two games are kind of like
Spuds McKenzie?
I wish I
You're
would.
a potato.
Yeah. It's a puzzle game where you're a potato. The Toxic Crusaders game for the Game Boy is very hard to get. Mega Man 5, which is that's the rarest of them that I have.
Same.
Kid Dracula. Roland's Curse 2 is another one I have. Castlevania Legends is up there. So yeah, there's as far as a lot of older consoles go, there's not a ton of really heavy hitters, but there's enough where you gotta. It's generally a pretty affordable if you're going for complete sets anyway. It's not awful compared to some of the older stuff.
What do you think's the
I
worst
do-
one to go for a complete set for? Like the worst console?
Newer stuff probably,
Why? Just because of quantity?
or NES.
Yeah, I'd say NES is rough. I'd say PS1's rough just because it's gotten expensive and there's like a billion of them. That and PS2. Because like what PS1, the North American is like what 1,700 games or something like that. And I think
Game
PS2
Boy
is
Advance
over
has a lot
2,000.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I guess just like I'd say for me personally, NES is probably the roughest, just because, and I don't even, for my personal collections, I don't consider stuff like Nintendo World Championship as necessary. It would be cool to have, but it doesn't make my collection incomplete or not. But It also has a officially licensed game called Stadium Events, which makes that almost impossible.
How
to
many
complete.
copies of that are there?
I think
Like
known.
80?
I think known it's like 80, and like in box it's like 6 or something ridiculous.
That game was pulled off shelves because they wanted to pack it in with the Power Mat. Is that correct? So that's why there's so few.
And the game wasn't even really and like no one even knows when it was released officially. I don't think, or like how or when it got pulled, because I don't think it had a lot of fanfare at all. Because it was just like a weird kind of smaller company just made this game, and Nintendo bought the rights to the technology. So yeah, I always maybe one day I'll sneak upon one. Like I'll get that the story of going to someone's garage sale and finding it. And
I think
but I
there's more
doubt
than
it.
80 copies of that. I was thinking of World Championship.
Oh yeah.
There's 80 copies of that as far as I know. Something like that. I actually have quite a few games on this list for Game Boy that I didn't realize were so high on this list.
Well,
How do you guys
I
keep
want
track of your collections?
What's that?
How do you keep track of your collection? Do you use an app?
I use,
Do you use a
I use an app called Game Eye.
Game
Yeah,
Eye?
I use Collector Z or Collector X, whatever it is, the CLZ app. That one I like it. You have to pay is the only downside of that one. It has a yearly subscription, but on Black Friday every year they do a pretty decent deal to keep it going for another year. So that's usually what I do. And I have I'm still trying to update them, but I have some Google Sheets that I've put together that has like a more visual checklist, because that's easier for me to check if I'm like at a
the
store.
stuff yeah.
You know,
That makes
so I
sense.
have it like color coded. It's not very fancy, but I'm like, oh, if it's this color, I already own it, so I can just kind of look through real fast, and I can share it with, whenever it becomes a time where people are going out and shopping more casually. I can have my wife look at it and she can go, oh, okay, he doesn't have that. Is this a good deal? I'll get it, kind of thing.
Did I ever
All right.
tell you the story of my Mega Man 4 inbox that I got for $25?
No, but I think it's gonna make me mad.
Well, maybe not, because I'll try to say it quickly. So a long time ago, I was buying like bundles of games and I was flipping a lot of them and selling the majority of them to like just try to make it by off eBay. This was like 8, 9 years ago. And literally our mail person was bringing like the USPS bins and like just dropping them at our door, just filled to the brim with packages. And this is when we had our dog. I was taking a nap on the couch and I woke up to him freaking out at the door. And I was like, what's going on? And I opened the door. There's one box, there's a bike lock. And I'm like, okay. So I bring in the thing. Some kids, I'm guessing kids, stole the bin of games. There was like an inbox linked to the past in there. I think there was like a Super Metroid and a bunch of other stuff. It was probably like at the time, like $400 worth of games that I think I spent about 150 on. Now it's probably way more. But the one thing that survived, the one thing was the most important thing. And it was a mint inbox Mega Man 4 for Game Boy that I had spent $25 on.
How much
So
is
I
that
was
game
like,
worth? Is that
it's like over $1,000 now, I think.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
God, it's hard to imagine that a Mega Man game would be rare.
Yeah. Well, Mega Man
Game
games
Boy
are
ones.
weird with that. So yeah, price charting has it loose cart $102.50, which is not awful, but complete is $1,073.16. Brand new would be $1,701.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. That right there is an example of why I don't go out of my way to collect complete in box.
Right. But you
I
would have
can-
bought it for $25.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
I would have definitely done. But in my head, I can justify to try to complete a collection cart only. It's still hard to pull that trigger, but I can spend $102 to get the game. $1,000 for one game that I'll then be scared to touch or look at. For me personally, it's a little trickier.
Should we wrap
Now
this one up, guys?
Let's wrap it up. I don't know why I'm making that decree. I'm your guest. I'm like, yeah, let's shut it down. Let's get to the
Briar,
outro,
what game
right?
do you have a game picked out for next episode?
Oh God, I didn't even think to pick one out. I totally
Well, no,
forgot.
you had one picked out last episode, and then I swung in.
That was 2 weeks ago.
You.
What the fuck?
I swung in under you with Ryan's pick. Remember, you had one picked out. I think.
I totally forgot. But
Shadowgate
I am
returns.
ready to go with one. Gunstar Heroes for the Genesis.
Okay.
How about that one? It'll be a big switch up.
How about
from,
that? How about that?
I do
How about that?
actually. I own that game, so there you go.
Perfect. You don't even have to buy anything. I own it too, but it's the Japanese version. I haven't been able to
It
find
is also
the American
available. They
version.
ported it to Xbox 360. It was one of the live arcade
really?
titles as well. Yes,
Can you?
that's
still
how
get
I
it?
originally played it for the first time. Was
I think
that
it's
one.
on that Sega Genesis collection too. That's on the Switch. Yeah.
That
Okay.
You have to pay $50 for.
That's a fun as hell game. It's not that difficult that you won't be able to beat it in like one sitting either. It's actually a pretty easy game.
It says
It's a fun one,
you.
What's that?
He's pointing to me and saying,
I'm serious.
You
It's not
won't
that
have
hard.
a problem beating it.
You won't have a problem. The rest of us would though, because you're fucking awesome. Ryan,
Yeah.
what are you up to for the next couple of weeks? What do you got planned here?
So
Where can people find it?
on Sunday, I'm recording. If you're near Nashville, I'm recording my special at Zany's. It's me and my buddy Brent Terhune. We're each recording specials that night. There's a 6:30 show, an 8:45 show. You can go to zanys.com for tickets. And because I like you guys, if anyone happens to be able to want to go, there is a promo code special that'll get you $5 tickets. And then New Year's Eve, I am in Springfield, Illinois at Donnie B's. And then, just going to start working on projects after that. I'm still filling out my my 2022. You can go to cripplethreat.com for my calendar. Cripplethreat8 on all the social media things.
And you're going to be streaming on Twitch more soon,
Yes, yes, that is the plan. But now that, because I've had it's one of the benefits of my comedy schedule kind of loosening up a little bit the first half of next year. I actually get to sit home and do this. Like, I mean, we've talked about it. When you don't have a schedule, it's really hard to
right?
get the motivation to do that. And when you travel a lot, you also need that recovery time. It's hard to, fly for 18 hours and then the next morning want to stream or anything.
Right.
So yeah, that is the plan. Cripple Threat 8 on Twitch as well.
Are things starting to get canceled again?
No, the problem that I've been having personally is that there's always this looming thought that new restrictions might take place.
Yeah.
So, and over the last like year and a half, because of everything that's happened with, we sold tickets and then we had to cancel and then we had to refund everybody and now we're still, and then it got canceled again. A lot of clubs and venues are very gun shy to book too far in advance. So they don't want to, under normal circumstances at this point, I might already have dates for like October, just because people fill up their calendars. Nobody's really wanting to do that right now because there's just too much uncertainty. Things aren't necessarily getting canceled per se, but it is very frustrating from the artist point because you're just like, I just want to have a full calendar so I know what I'm doing. And it's just hard to make those decisions right now.
Yeah. Jay, what are you up to?
Destiny has the 30th anniversary stuff that we've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, still streaming 5 nights a week, most weeks in the middle of the night. And then other than that, like I keep getting all these ideas to do retro content. Like doing a whole video on is video games a collectible asset, I feel like would be interesting, but gotta do that stuff. But otherwise, Christmas stuff, going up to the family this weekend. And you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at JSniperton. Come hang out. Somebody literally asked in the chat, how do we see what games you're selling, if you're selling anything? If you want to talk about that kind of thing, my DMs are open. I try not to advertise it. Yeah, I try not to advertise it too much, but if you have stuff to sell or if you're looking to buy specific things, I give deals to people that I'm not dealing with on eBay. So hit me up.
Well, I'm going to say right now, I'm going to slide into your DMs. It's been a
I
little
have
bit
some new
since I've
Game
seen
Boy
you.
games.
I was going to say.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say I
so-
have some loose stuff that you might want to take it.
Yeah, let's wheel and deal, Jay. I guess I can put up with you for a little bit longer.
We can trade too if you have any doubles. I'm down for trades potentially.
Okay,
too.
yeah, I have. I don't have a ton of doubles and probably not stuff that you'd want, but I'll take a gander.
Yeah, no NSYNC backstage stuff, please. Thanks.
Do you need
Backstreet Boys only.
Caesar's Palace for the Game Gear?
That $1 game?
Do you need that? That might be worth your Panic restaurant, I think.
Yeah, right. Just
Even
a
trade.
1-to-1 trade there, totally.
Yeah, it's one game for one game. You get to play one game. I get to play. I don't see the problem here.
What about you,
All
Brian?
right. Same old shit. Doing podcasts. You know where to find me.
He's like, I'm ready to go to bed. Good night.
Thank you all for joining us. Ryan, anytime you want to come on, man, it's always a pleasure to have you. This was really fun again. Open invitation, honestly.
Let's try to make it a little, not quite 6 months next time.
Okay.
So, sure. I enjoy doing this, and yeah, this is how I can keep getting better deals from Jay on video games. So.
That is.
All right. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Gunstar Heroes. Bye.